Okay. So now I'm going to be taking you through addition and subtraction of fractions. So that's exactly what we are going to be looking at in today's lesson. So let's see. Nope, that's a topic for a different lesson. So it's fine. I think I'll use these blank pages. So let me just write down there, say, adding and subtracting fractions. This is exactly what I'm going to be taking you through. Trust me, the honorable member, when I say by the end of this lesson, you should be having a better understanding of where to start when you are given a fraction. It could be two or more terms, which are in a form of a fraction. So maybe let me start with fractions, which are just the numbers only. So I'm just hoping to do all types in one lesson. So here we are just going to be focusing on the fractions, which are just the numbers. So maybe number one, let's say you are given 1/4 that is being added to 2/4. So I'm going to teach you a method which is applicable to all types of fractions where you are either adding or subtracting. So what you should look at, first thing that you should look at is your denominators. So in this case, you can see that your denominators are the same, being 4. So that means your LCD, which I hope you do know very well how to find your LCD. You will therefore say my LCD, in this case, it is 4. So 4, it is that lowest common denominator. So 4, it's a number whereby that 4 goes into and also that 4 goes into. It is the lowest common denominator. Okay, so in this case, you can therefore have that big line where underneath you write your denominator. Then what you are going to do, it is to multiply each fraction by that denominator. So in other words, not just denominator, but that LCD. So in other words, that 4, you will multiply that first fraction. The sign there, it's a plus. That same LCD, you will multiply that second fraction. So you can already see that these 4 will cancel with that, and that 4 again will cancel with that. What you remain with looks like you remain with just 1 that you need to plus it with 2, the whole of that divided by that 4. The 1, it is that 1, and then the 2, it is that 1. So now it looks like you end up having 3 at the top and then 4 at the bottom. And that is the end of it. So if you take your calculator and punch the whole of that, it should give you exactly that. That's how you know that you have done it correctly. Okay, then it's fine. Let's look at another example whereby this time around we are not given the same denominators. Let's say 1/2 that you plus it with 1/6. Yes, I think this will be a good example. Definitely your LCD, I'm pretty much sure that you do know very well what your LCD will be, lowest common denominator. In this case, it's going to be 6. So it is that first number whereby this denominator and that denominator can go into that number, which is 6. Because yes, 2, it does goes into a 6, and again, even 6, it does go into that 6. So that is the first number or the lowest common denominator. Okay, Then in this case, let's do what we did where we do that long fraction so that we can put that LCD. And then from there, we're going to take that LCD and we are going to multiply each fraction with that LCD. I'm going to give you a trick that you can use in case if they say do not use a calculator or you just happen not to have a calculator. It's going to be an interesting trick. So you know that 6 is the same as what? As 3 multiplied by 2. So just remember that it is that 6 that is multiplying that 1 over 2. And then again, 6, it is the same as that 3 times 2, which is multiplying that 1 over 6. And then the whole of that being divided by that 6. So the reason why I wanted to show you this is because I wanted you to notice as that 2 cancels with that, and then it's like 3 multiplying the 1, then you end up having 3 there that you will plus it with. Definitely this alone, it is the same as 6. So even if you did not have to convert it back to 3 by that, but you just know that whole of that cancels with that, and then you end up having your 1 there, whereby this is now over 6. So that plus that is the same as 4 that you divided by 6. So if, for example, you can further simplify this number, definitely it is the same as 2 that you multiplied by 2, and again 2 that you multiplied by 3. So you just had to break down those numbers into their factors, whereby that can cancel with that, then you end up having 2 divided by 3, and that should be the end of it. So this is you playing with the numbers. So now let's look at another example, whereby in this example, the honorable member, we've got multiple fractions. So let's say we are having 1 over 8 there, that we plus it with, let's say, 1 over 4, maybe let's minus 1 over 2. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So now, what will be the LCD? The LCD, definitely in this case, it is equals to 8. So without wasting much of our precious time, we know exactly what we are going to do. That big fraction line, and then from there we'll multiply h by that. So that means here we are having that 8 that will multiply the 1 over 8 plus that same LCD, it will have to multiply that 1 over 4. Then here it's a minus. We are having that 8 that will have to multiply that 1 over 2. So can you see? It looks like now we can enjoy the cancelling. So otherwise, you can still rewrite this as 8 multiplying 1 over 8 because you know that 8 is going to cancel with that 1. So this 8, you can break it into 2 multiplied by 4. Remember, this is multiplying that fraction of 1 over 4, where you minus, again, that 8, you can break it down into that 2 that you multiplied by 4, which is multiplying that fraction of 1 over 2. The whole of that is being divided by 8. Then now you can enjoy cancelling because you can see that this will cancel with that, and then that 4 will cancel with that. What else? These 2 will cancel with that, and you are just remaining with 1 that is plusing these 2 multiplying that 1, which is 2, then that 4 multiplying that 1, where the sign is a minus, then you've got your number being 4 there. This divide by 8. Hope that part makes sense. So board mass, it says, what do? You add and then later you subtract, which means the honorable member, you will take that 1, you plus it with 2, it gives you 3 minus 4, that is being divided by 8, then 3 minus 4, definitely it will be negative 1, that is dividing 8, and that should be the end of it. Remember, this is still the same as negative 1 over 8. It doesn't matter if it's written like that or in that format. It refers to one and the same thing. Just in case if you are dealing with a textbook that writes the over as a slash. So do not worry that much. It refers to one and the same thing. Okay, so now I've got an interesting problem. I think this should be the last one under the fractions with the number. So you are having one as a whole number there, that, and then we plus it with, let's say, 2 whole number, then you are having 1 over 4 there. Let us minus 3, and then let's say 1 over 6. So what are you going to do in this case? Your steps. By now, I'm pretty much sure that you did realize that what you are actually going to be doing, it is just to convert the mixed number to an improper fraction. Exactly that will be your first step. Once that is done, then you find your LCD, your lowest common denominator. And then the step that comes after is where you add and subtract the numerators. Remember, all the times you need to follow board mass. And lastly, where possible, you simplify. Okay, then it's fine. Let's get started. Definitely to convert this from a mixed number to improper fraction, do you know very well that by now you multiply the denominator and then you add that numerator. Okay, so definitely it will have to be 1 that you multiplied by 3, which gives you 3, then you plus it by 1, and then it becomes 4. That means fraction is 4 over 3. That you plus it with 2 times 4, which is 8, you plus it by 1, it gives you 9. Then you've got 9 over 4 minus that times that. What will that be? Is it not 18? It is 18 that you will have to plus it by 1. And then it ends up giving you 19 over 6. Yes. So can you see? Now you are having it as the fraction that we have been dealing with all along, whereby you will now have to identify your LCD. So your LCD, in this case, it looks like it is 12, that lowest common denominator. It is definitely a 12. So based on what I've explained to the honorable member, remember, I'm teaching you a method that you can use and it solves all the types of problems without you having to worry and thinking that, okay, if it is given to you like this is how you need to work it out. But if it comes this way, you do it this way. So you just use one method for all the types of problems. So you see now you are having 12 over there. Name. Okay, then it's fine. You are having 12 over there. Then what do? So you will take that 12 and multiply each fraction. So that means you're having 12 there. So you're having that over that. That you need to plus it with. You take that same 12, you want to multiply that over that, and then you minus. Again, you are having that same 12. There you are having 19 over 6. So what are you going to do? It looks like you are just going to start with that process of cancelling. So let's say you don't have a calculator or you don't want to say 12 divided by 3, that is 40, you multiply by that, but you therefore break down that 12 to say, actually, 12, it is the same as 4 that you multiplied by 3. Then you multiply that by 4 over 3. You see, now you'll cancel it nicely. So that means, again, 12, it is that, what is it? 4 times 3, of which it is multiplying that 9 over 4. So this one of 12, again, you can say 12 is the same as 6 multiplied by 2, which will therefore be multiplying that fraction. So all that you did was just to break down the 12 itself so that you can nicely cancel those numbers that are the same. Just like that one, it appears there and they cancels. That cancels with that, and that canceling with that. And what do? You've got that 4 multiplying that 4. What is that? I think that should be 16, yes. We are having 16 there, that you will plus it by 3, that you multiplied by 9. What will that be? 30 minus 3, 27. So that should be 27. And then that 19 multiplied by that, 40 minus 2, which is 38. Yes, that should be 38. And you just say over 2. Not 2, but 12. Okay, so now Bodmer says you add, and then later you are going to subtract. Let's see. 16, that you plus it by 27, it gives you 43, that you will need to minus 38, and that you will have to divide by 12. So what is that? Definitely, it gives you 5. That is over 12. You cannot further simplify that, and that becomes the end of it. I hope that makes sense. So that's how you deal with the expressions which are in the form of fractions. Not equations, but expressions where you just need to simplify. Okay, so now the last part of this is where we are dealing with a mix. Yes, let's just say a mix of the numbers and the letters. Yes, just so that at least you will have a better understanding of how the fractions work, where now you've got the numbers only, or in some instances you have a mix of the numbers and the letters. So maybe let's start with something like, let's say 2 over x. Perhaps let's plus it with 1 over 3. Yes, something of this nature. So here, the LCD, it's very, very easy when you're dealing with the fractions where you've got a mix, because all that you need to do is just to take these two and you multiply them. So that means you are having 3x. It becomes easy in that way. And then by applying that same method, that means we've got our LCD, which is 3x. So this same 3x, you will therefore multiply those fractions. So that 3x, it also multiplies that 1 over 3. Then what you do, I think you will definitely enjoy cancelling. That cancelling with that, definitely that will cancel with that. And what you remain with, it is just that number multiplying with that, it becomes 6. That you plus it with that multiplying with that, it becomes just x. This is being divided by 3x, and that is the end of it. I hope that part makes sense. Okay, so now let's try have a look at a different example and say, in this case, let's say you are having, okay, let's say y that we divided by 2. Maybe let's minus this time around, and let us have a different letter there, and then we will just say over k. Yes, something of this nature. LCD, just like I've explained, you just take that denominator multiplied with that, and that's what you are having. Therefore, you end up having your 2k there. What do? You multiply each term by that. So you are having y over 2, where you are minusing, again you are multiplying by that p over k. Then you just enjoy cancelling. Definitely that will cancel with that. Then you've got your ky, where you minus the k cancelling with that. Then you've got your 2p there, which is divided by 2k. And that is the end of it. I hope that part makes sense. Maybe let us look at the last example. Maybe let's say we are having 1 over 3, where we plus it with p over let's say x, then maybe let's minus, what is it? Can we say 4? Maybe let's divide these by what? Let me think. There. Let me think. There. Let me just see if it can be complicated and say why. Yes, okay. Then in this case, our LCD will therefore be, you just take those denominators as they are, and that becomes your LCD. So that you will therefore have that fraction, and then you will say 3xy. Then you multiply each fraction by that 3xy. So that means it will multiply that. Then that you plus it with that same 3xy, it will multiply that p over x. Then you minus that by, again, that same 3xy, it will have to multiply that 4 over y. So that should be your first step, the honorable member. And then what comes after is you enjoying the cancelling, which means that cancelling with that, then what else? That cancelling with that, and that cancelling with that. So that means you end up having the xy, because it's multiplying with that one, and then you end up having a plus there, then it is 3yp or 3py. It doesn't really matter that much. But if you remember, I always encourage you to write the letters alphabetically or in that order of the alphabets. To say if p comes first, rather write it as py. Then here you will therefore have, what is 3 times 4? Definitely it is 12, and the letter there, it is x. And that is being divided by your LCD being that. Then if we look at these, do we have some sort of like terms? Nope, we do not have such a thing. And for that reason, it means this is the end of it. I hope all made sense, the honorable member. And for that reason, I will therefore leave it here and say until we meet. Oh.